welcome back to the Pittsburgh Sports Saviors. It is December 5th, about 9:54 p.m. Recording a little early with the Thursday night game this week. Lee, how you been?
I've been all right, bud. How about yourself?
Not too bad. I've been trying my best to avoid thinking about the game on Sunday.
Oh,
Put it in the.
yeah.
It is kind of nice to you have the Patriots coming up because Belichick's famous. We're on the Cincinnati line. We got
Yeah.
we're on the New England line for me at least for the
Yeah. Yeah.
Steelers. I'm not going to think anything about the Cardinal game at all. Um,
Yeah.
you've had anything to get your mind off it? Have you been following the NBA in-season tournament or anything like that?
Yeah. I've been watching a little bit of that. So right now they're in like the, I guess the quarterfinals. So right now the game might almost be over, but it's about 4.5 minutes left to go in the Bucks versus Knicks game, and it's Bucks are up 132, 111. If the Bucks win, they'll be playing the Pacers, who just won yesterday against the Celtics. And yesterday also was the Kings and the Pelicans won as well. So they're waiting the game of the Lakers and Suns that starts at 10 o'clock tonight. So be interesting to see. The semifinals will be in Vegas, and then the championship will be in Vegas. Semifinals will be on Thursday. So be interesting to see how the rest of this in-season tournament goes. So I've been watching that a little bit just to take my mind off of this past Steelers game, just something else to watch and kind of look forward to as well. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So it's what the prize is $3 million to split among the team. Is that what it is?
Yeah, I think that. Yeah, I think that's what it is. And I was watching an interview with LeBron James. And he's talking about how cheap he is, and he's like, "Yeah, we're just playing for the money. Once we heard there was money, we want to win now. We want to win the money."
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Looking. I'm gonna pull that back up real quick. Yeah, I would. I think I would go Phoenix tonight over the Lakers. I don't know how Phoenix has been playing. But just off
Yeah,
the top of my
that's what you would think. But the Lakers actually
been
they
playing
were
well for the
4-0. They
tournament.
went 4-0. Yeah, through the tournament. They
Yeah,
haven't
in the
lost.
pod.
Yeah, they haven't lost yet. They actually beat the Suns earlier in the one of the games. So but again, the Suns do have a better roster, so they're probably the pick there. But you can't count LeBron James out. You just never know. So
Yeah, and then
but the Bucks, I'll tell you, the Bucks have been really nice since they added Damian Lillard. It's just been
yeah, that's a
very
huge boost.
interesting. Yeah.
I know Halliburton's been pretty good for the Pacers all year, right?
Yeah. Oh
Uh-huh.
yeah. He just recorded. I think it was like he was the youngest to record a certain type of triple double.
I know it was a triple double with no turnovers. That might be
Yeah,
what
no
it
turnovers.
was.
That's what it was.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. He was like the
Yeah.
third youngest, I believe it was, to
Okay.
score a triple double with no turnovers, which really, really good. So
Yeah, there was another stat I looked I saw was it was like listed his like specific stat line of the amount of points, assists, and rebounds has only been
yeah,
done 7 times in the history. But you look
yeah,
on the list, and it's 2 of them is Jokic this year.
yeah.
He's just so great that
Oh, he's just
he's just doing
phenomenal.
things that no
Yeah.
one's doing. But
Yeah, he's already leading the MVP race again, so it's gonna
uh,
be fun to see the rest of the season. So
yeah. Um. Well, like I said, I don't want to talk Cardinals.
yeah,
We can tell you to go check out the post game show we did on Sunday night if you really need to
yeah,
get your Cardinals fill. But I've had my Cardinals fill, that's for sure.
yeah. I'm about done. Yeah, with all that, we spent a whole hour. We went on it. I think it was good. A good rant and good talk to go on. All of that. I think we got it out of our system, so that's good. I do want to say real quick, thank you, Jay Quest, for the comment the other night, and anybody else watching. If you decide, you want to comment, join in. We welcome it all. So we want to just thank all of our viewers that are watching us as we get this thing started up for you guys.
Yeah, we'll be live Thursday night, probably right after the game. I don't know if we'll have too much of a delay, just because it'll be late. So we'll do that Thursday night for sure. But one thing I think we pretty much glossed over. I don't think we've talked about it too much, but I do want to talk about it. Is the Hall of Fame semifinalists being announced?
Oh yeah.
So I figured first I'll just list out these guys here. This is everyone
Okay.
that has made it. Let me see. I think that's a better view there. So these are this should be semifinalists, not finalists. The finalists will be announced later this year. I think they cut it down to 15 and then cut it down to 10.
Yeah. Yeah.
But we got a list here. I don't know. I'm not going to throw all these names out at you. But is there anyone on this list that you like seeing, or you think the names that are good?
Reggie Wayne's a good candidate. Julius Pepper, I always liked him when he was playing with the Panthers. A good defensive end. Anquan Bolden's another name. That's pretty. It was a pretty good player. Jared Allen as well. I think that's a pretty decent list. Even Devin Hester, he definitely should be. Maybe come the time of finalists. I mean, he had such an impact with the punt return and kick return.
Player.
I mean, so yeah, just a really talented player. But I'd say those five, are probably like the key ones that jump out to me.
I'm about to have you comment on some more defensive end and receiver topics for an obvious reason. But I'll just name a couple other guys that I think will have a good shot this year. Would be like Antonio Gates. I think will have a good shot.
Yeah.
And then I think Patrick Willis is someone that was a finalist last year, so I think he has a good shot also. But the reason someone if you say, wait, there's a couple names missing from this list.
Yeah.
I got those two here. We have James Harrison and Hines Ward are also semifinalists this year. I got some stats up there for you from those two guys. Harrison is Steeler from 2002 to 2012. Then from 2014 to 2017, Hines from 1998 to 2011. They've both been semifinalists before. Harrison 2-time, and Ward. This is his 8th time as a Hall of Fame semifinalist.
Oh wow!
And then both have the 2 Super Bowls. Harrison's a 2-time All-Pro, 5-time Pro Bowler, and Hines is a 4-time Pro Bowler. Harrison has that Defensive Player of the Year in 2008, 84.5 career sacks. What do you remember from that year? That was the Super Bowl year, right? So,
yeah.
What are you thinking of?
Oh, I mean, James Harrison he was on another tear. I mean, I just remember watching the games with the Ravens, and he just going after. There was the one game, I think it was a Monday night game, and I think he had like 3 sacks on his own, a couple forced fumbles, a bunch of tackles. I mean, he was doing everything in that game. I mean, and then get to the Super Bowl and 100-yard interception return on Kurt Warner. I mean, it was just fantastic. One of the best plays in Super Bowl history for sure. So I mean, I'm just happy to have him on the team. It was just such an impact.
Yeah, I think if the Steelers don't give up that huge play to Fitzgerald, he's probably the MVP of that Super Bowl too.
Oh,
with the interception, I think that makes him. I think he gets that for sure, right? At that point, because we're taking away what I'm doing is taking away the game-winning touchdown at the end of the game because we no longer need it because there's no Fitzgerald touchdown. Then moving over to Hines, he does have a Super Bowl MVP, a Super Bowl XL. He ended up in his career with 1,000 catches, over 12,000 yards, 85 TDs, and even more impressive in my eyes are these playoff numbers. 88 receptions is 7th all time. 1,181 yards is 9th all time, and his 10 TDs is tied for 5th. He's tied for 7th in his receptions also. But yeah, that's those are pretty impressive stats. I think you got to take into account when you're looking at his chances to make the Hall. But there are a few semifinalists that I think we should compare these guys to. So first we'll pull up Harrison's comparisons real quick. Some of the other defensive ends that are on the list this year. I think the big thing that jumps out is that Julius Peppers, his numbers across the board are very impressive. I think he's got to be a lock with these numbers for Hall of Fame this year. 159 sacks is crazy. Is that 150? Yeah. Sorry for the small font on it, but I think it's going to be rough for Harrison, especially this year with these guys. If you just look at those and compare the stats, I don't know. maybe I'll do this to just pull for a second. Let everyone view that up high and close.
Yeah.
As we talk about it a little bit. Any comments you have from it?
I mean, this is definitely just a well-rounded group of defensive players. You know what I mean? It's just, it's amazing. And what's crazy is the stats that Julius Pepper doesn't have, James Harrison has. You know, which is just crazy.
Tackles,
you know what I mean? Yeah, the tackles and stuff like that.
Championships.
And, you know, yeah, and Dwight Freeney, that's who that is, right? Dwight Freeney and Jared Allen. I mean, definitely also well-rounded players as well. I mean, Dwight Freeney was a tear in Indianapolis, and Jared Allen, I think, for the Vikings. Is that correct? I think.
He was there in Kansas City before that.
In Kansas City, before that, yeah. And I mean, these are just a well-rounded group of players. I mean, Julius Pepper. I mean, he was just so talented in Carolina. Watching him play, and he was just a monster on the field, but. You know, he may be the shoe-in this year because he has a lot of the stats. But, James Harrison was really a force to be reckoned with on the field. I mean, he was so scary. I mean, he didn't get the nickname Debo for nothing. You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly.
So he was very talented. It was just awesome to have him on the team.
Yeah, I'm looking at this list. I think all of them are going to be deserving. I think that you're right that Peppers would be the one that gets in first along these guys.
Yeah.
I do find it interesting that the only one with a player of the year is James Harrison. So he does have that, and all these guys are playing at the same time.
Yeah.
They're all in the same league at the same time, and Harrison's the only one that can say he was considered the best player in the league one year, best defensive player in 2008. But Peppers was like one of the first just physical freaks that are starting to take over the defensive end position at this point. Yeah. Now everyone's like that, but he was a former basketball player and just an athletic freak, and he was one of my favorite players early on in his career for sure. But let me pull this back up for a second, and then we'll move on to the receivers. This is a bigger list. So I'm gonna put it full screen for right now instead of waiting until a little later so everyone can see that. Let me pull this banner down too.
So we got Andre Johnson, Anquan Bolden, Steve Smith Jr., Torrey Holt, Hines Ward, and Reggie Wayne.
Yeah, these are the
definitely another great list of wide receivers.
Yeah.
Hines Ward, though, he was such a well-rounded wide receiver.
Yeah,
definitely one of my favorite players. He blocked, and he would take a hit and catch the ball, and he's always smiling. It didn't even matter how hard the hit was, and he talked trash to you and still do something on the field. He was such a great player. Reggie Wayne for Peyton Manning. I mean, they had such a elite wide receiver trio with Brandon Stokely and Marvin Harrison. I mean, that was just amazing. Steve Smith on the Panthers was always scary. You just didn't know how, he's so fast. You just didn't know what was going to happen. Torrey Holt, oh man, back in the old Rams team, they used to be the team, used to want to be the Rams, Torrey Holt, Isaac Bruce.
Yeah. Greatest show on turf.
Greatest show on turf, Kurt Warner throwing to them. I mean, it was just great. Andre Johnson, one of those, I think he was just underrated, in the Texans. You know what I mean?
A lot of losing,
but he was such a talented player, just on a really bad team, and Anquan Bolden, I mean, he just another talented receiver. I mean, another one. I mean, he was on that Cardinals team, I think, in the Super Bowl with Larry Fitzgerald. I believe so.
Yeah, he's still on that team, I believe, and then he did get a Super Bowl later on himself.
Yeah, and so just another great elite list. I'm shocked to see that Steve Smith has so many on there as well.
Yeah, the one thing about this, the table that's been made, a lot of it's like return yards and kick. A lot of things that Steve Smith is on top on, or things like that. And then he had a lot of longevity. Both Bolden and Steve Smith had similar little traits to their, I guess we can call it trait, whatever
Yeah.
we're gonna call it, to their careers, where they
Yeah.
had stretches with one team that, like, when you think of these guys, you think Bolden, you think Cardinals forever, you think
Yeah.
Smith, you think Yankees forever, but then both ended up on the Ravens. So as Steelers fans, see a lot of them, and like they pretty much had a second careers, like revitalizations, both of them.
Oh yeah.
While they were Ravens, they both had great little runs with them. Last year, both Andre Johnson and Torrey Holt were finalists. So you got to think maybe they're still going to be ahead of Hines, because Hines was there also, but he was not a finalist. So it looks like there's a couple guys ahead of him still, but I think he belongs in the Hall of Fame. I think.
Yeah, I do too.
I think it was Tomlin a couple weeks ago talking about he's just we got to grade him out as a football player. I mean, it's hard to tell the story of the NFL without guys like Hines Ward. He brings so much to the table that the way he played, the blocking. I mean, he led to rule changes through his blocking. That's how great of a blocker he was. And then his stats still match up. I mean, they're the 1,000 catches is right in the middle of these guys. I mean, the 12,000 yards is a little on the lower side of these guys. He has more touchdowns than anyone else on this list, which I was surprised to see. But I hope Pines can get in. I think
I hope so
this
too.
might not be the year, but it's gonna happen. Same with Harrison.
James
I don't know. Harrison's a little rougher. I don't know if it will happen for him. But I definitely think he's deserving. It's just I do too. The backlog of talented players makes it a little rougher, I think, for Harrison. And right now, the receiver backup. The receiver backup's been going on forever. You got to blame. They kept out Chris Carter for so long. They kept out like so many good players. I think T.O. had to wait a while. And these guys, if you let them in when they were supposed to go in, then Torrey Holt would already be in. I think Andre Johnson would probably be in already. It wouldn't be an issue for Hines. So it's like the backlog's killing him more than anything. I think right now. The other worry I have with it is as time goes on, the way the game's being played now, there's just going to be so many receivers that are going to pass him up statistically. So I hope it's going to be on the media and everyone to remember how great of a player he was, and don't let him just fall like into the backside of history. But that's how I feel about it right now. I don't know. You want to add anything else on the Hall of Fame stuff that I just mentioned?
No, I mean, it's just again, like you said. I mean, if a lot of these guys got in when they should have, I think like Hines Ward and James Harrison would already be in, but it's just how it goes, and we'll just have to wait and see. But I do think that they're both Hall of Fame worthy very soon.
Yep. So I guess we can just move on to this week's game. We have the Patriots coming into town Thursday night. It's going to be on Prime. I think locally it's still going to be on KDKA, but I could be wrong on that. It might be another channel, maybe NBC or something, but you'll be able to watch it locally. You're in Florida, so you'll be watching on Prime or at the bar, I guess, right?
Yeah. The Steelers bar I go to, they usually have every Steeler game, so it doesn't matter.
Do you want to shout them out?
Yeah, it's O'Brien's Irish Pub here in Tampa, Florida, right off of North Del Mabry. If anybody's watching in Tampa that's a Steelers fan, they welcome. They have a nice little Steelers club, and they do little raffles, and they do trips to any of the stadiums in Florida. If the Steelers come down and play, they'll get together and do some trips. But it's a nice little bar, good food, good environment, good group of people. So O'Brien's Irish Pub, really nice little spot.
Nice. I guess the big news is it's official. Kenny's going to be out like 2 to 4 weeks with his ankle. He had an ankle surgery. I think they call it a tightrope surgery is what the name of it is. So it'll be Mitch, at least for Thursday night. That's been confirmed. For the Patriots, it's going to be Bailey Zappi going for them. Their main running back, Ramondre Stevenson, seems like he's going to be out too. So both teams are going to be missing key pieces to their offenses. What are your first thoughts on the game for this week?
Yeah, it's another 2-10 team coming into Pittsburgh. I think it's going to be low scoring. I saw I think the over-under is the lowest it's been since like 2005. Wow. It's like 30 and a half, so it's like the lowest.
I would still take it under.
Yeah. So, I think the under, but I think it's going to be a low scoring game. Maybe I was a little overzealous last week, but
I know. We're not gonna talk about last week.
yeah. But I think it's gonna be a low scoring game this week between both teams.
Yeah, I think this game's going to be a lot like the Bengals game and the Browns game for sure.
Yeah.
I think the one good thing is, knock on wood, obviously, because of what
Yeah.
everything. But the QB play for the Patriots is much worse than what Kyler Murray was given the Cardinals.
Yeah.
They've been very similar to the Steelers' offense, I think, but even worse, which is impressive. It's an impressive feat to do, is to be worse than the Steelers' offense, but the Patriots have found a way to do so. So, I mean, the defense has given up yardage all year. You would hope that they can still hold these guys to some field goals and leave them out of the end zone. Especially without Stevenson in. Bailey Zapp, I think that they're going through the motions at this point. I think they're ready for the season to be over. I don't think that's the same. The Cardinals seem to have more fight even the last few weeks. So I think there is a difference here with the Patriots.
Yeah, and it may not be the old Ben versus Brady matchup, but it's still the Patriots and Steelers. So anything could happen in this game. It should be a fun game. You never know what's going to happen in these games.
Yeah, I think Thursday night, even with the bad game on Sunday, the crowd will be hot for the Patriots.
Yeah,
I think. Yeah, maybe it might even be more of a one-sided rivalry than we think, because we're on the Steelers side. When our hatred for them might be a little stronger than the Patriots' hate for the Steelers, just because they've been the winner on so many of the key games throughout the rivalry. But I think it'll be electric there. It should be interesting. I haven't checked the weather at all. Have you checked?
No, I haven't checked. No.
I know the Steelers are 6-point favorites right now. And then, the weather looks like 44, no rain or anything, 44 degrees. I saw that Harris was questionable today, but I think that might just because he had a rest day as a veteran.
Yeah.
So I don't think he'll be hurt. I know there are a couple injuries going around, but it seems like Kenny's the big one that will definitely be out. I don't know if you caught anyone else that's out for Thursday yet.
No, I haven't caught anybody else. I did catch some other news, though, that a lot of the Steeler fans are calling for Mike Tomlin's job. Again, I know we've talked about it already, about we're not, I don't think me and you have jumped on the ship yet to fire Tomlin, but there's a lot of fans that were very upset after that game this past Sunday, and they're calling for his job already.
I was messing around on Twitter with people, and I ended up looking up articles about Cowher and at the end of his tenure and people calling for his names. And there's an article in 2017, maybe I'll put it in the description, that talks about local reporters. I think it was Ron Cook in 2000 was talking about how Dan Rooney had to get rid of Cowher. It was time. It was after a couple weak seasons in a row, and it was an easy choice to get to move on from Cowher. And then 5 years later, he won a Super Bowl. He finally got a Super Bowl. I think it could be a similar situation here where, like, you think we're down and it's time to move on. But I still think Tomlin's a great coach. I think Cowher was a great coach, and sometimes great coaches go through lulls. I know the people on the other side will say this has been more than a lull. This has been going on years without a playoff win, but I'm still not in that camp. Maybe I'm just stubborn because I'm still not in the get rid of Kenny camp either yet. What can you say?
What can you say? We'll just have to see how the rest of these 5 games go, the rest of the season. You know, so the only thing right now, we're in the playoffs. We're the 5 seed right now. Where we stand right now is if the playoffs were to end, we're the 5th seed right now. We'd be playing the Jaguars right now. But maybe it could be like that. What was it? That 2005 5 season where we played all the
It'll be
teams
a little,
we lost in the playoffs, and we faced them again, and
get some revenge on
make
them.
Yeah.
The defense would definitely have to mesh if that's going to happen, and then you would have to get lucky too. I think they're not made for a playoff run yet. I don't think. If they do go 2-3, end up 9-8, then I could see the Tomlin guy, this hot seat coming along. They wouldn't cut him or fire him. They would trade him.
Yeah.
Someone would give up something for him. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
So that would be the move. But I'm still not in that camp. But I mean, if it's a first round pick for Tomlin, maybe if we're talking a 9-8 team again, missing the playoffs again, maybe you do something crazy like that. I would be very scared making the move and probably have like buyer's remorse right away. But you don't want to see some kind of it's been stagnated the last few years for sure. They're not gonna get a top pick this year in the draft because they're gonna finish in the middle of the league at the very least. It's gonna be tough to get an elite quarterback even this year. Maybe if you get a trade partner, you can get a top 10 pick for Tomlin and get your quarterback for the future or something. It'll be interesting to see. But do you want to give some predictions, or you go ahead first if you had something else?
Yeah, real quick. I we were talking a couple weeks ago what we thought they were going to do over this 4-game stretch. I had predicted 2-2, but I hadn't predicted the 2-2 this way. But we'll see what happens this game on Thursday. Again, hoping for a win. But that's what I had predicted 2-2, and right now they're 1-2. Yeah. So we will see what happens on Thursday. And maybe the next game we could go over the last 5 games. We can go over make our things for that.
Do that, I remember I think I said 3-1, and I got the first part, the tough part, when we won one of the Cincy and Cleveland games, but that we blew that Arizona game, so it doesn't matter. But I guess predictions. Let's go for this week. I'll go first, score wise. I think, like I said, it's gonna be like the Cleveland and the Cincy game. I'm gonna go 13-10 Steelers. We'll find a way to get the win again. How you feeling?
I'm thinking 10-7 Steelers.
10-7.
It's gonna be a little bit lower. I'm hoping that we can recover. It's a short week. I just don't know. Again, the over/under is 30.5. I want to go a little higher, but I'm thinking it's going to be a little bit more lower. I think it's going to be more defensive game, and I think it's going to be 10-7 Steelers. I think Boswell is going to kick the field goal at the end of regulation to win it for us.
Another exciting ending.
Yeah.
MVP of the game. I don't know if I want to go MVP, but I think the one score in this game for the Steelers offense will be a deep ball. I'll go with Pickens for the deep ball, but I don't know who it's going to be, but I think it's going to be a deep pass for a touchdown as their only touchdown, and then 2 Boswell field goals is what I'm thinking.
Okay. I think the one touchdown for us is just going to be Jaylen Warren on a nice 30-yard run. I think it's going to be a 30-yard run.
Yeah,
he's going to run. I think it's going to be sloppy game with 2 backup quarterbacks. I think there's going to be a lot of turnovers, both sides of the field. I see it. I think there's going to be a lot of sacks is going to happen in this game as well. I think it's just going to be all defense this whole game.
Yeah, I'm expecting a lot of 3-and-outs, a lot of sacks, like you're saying. But I think the Steelers will come out on top. Just because I don't have a good reason why, other than I said that's my reason.
But
I guess we can
10-7 win, and
10-7.
We'll see what happens.
I'll see you next week, or not next week. I'll see you Thursday night, Lee.
See you Thursday night after the game. Anybody watching, come join and enjoy the show, and hopefully we go for a Steelers victory.
Yep, definitely.
Yeah.